Mr. Low. So here you are, another conversation that feels like it has been a long time coming. A very prominent person in the local South African Rocket League community, and then you retired, and then you unretired, and here you are. So I guess first things first, tell me why. So what was your? There was obviously a reason you were moving out of the competitive scene, and then decided to get back into. So paint that picture. Tell us that story.
Okay, so basically, at the start of 2021, I was starting my final year of studies, and so I just thought, I'm not really playing anything now. There was no tournaments for Rocket League. 2020 was quite a dead year when I was playing with Pirates. There was like one or two and a few other Metal State Cups. So I was like, there's no real reason to play anymore. And in general, I wasn't really gaming as much. I'll probably be gaming like once or twice a week. So I just thought, this thing's sitting, this flipping 30K piece is just sitting and wasting its time. And then I decided I'm just going to sell it and decide to focus on my studies as well. So yeah, that's basically that story.
All
Why
right.
I left.
Okay. Well, before you get into why you came back, what did you go off and do? You said you were finishing your studies. What are you studying? What were you going into? What was your plan at that stage?
So at that stage, it was just to prioritize and focus on my studies. So I finished my undergrad in maths and computer science, applied maths, computer science. So I was like, shit, I need to focus this year. And just to remove the temptation completely, I just sold everything. And I bought myself a laptop just to focus on studies, yeah.
And how far? Well, how long were you in retirement? I mean, it seemed like forever, but I think in truth it was actually just a few months, right? How long was it?
I think it was about 7 or 8 months. I think it was from
Okay.
January to when it RCS start. Or when was
September.
it announced?
I think it was
September.
announced August, September, thereabouts. Yeah, I think it was September, mid-September.
Yeah, so I think when it got announced, I think maybe 2 weeks after that, or like a week or two before the first main event or something. So yeah, until then, it was pretty much me not caring. I just like tried to cut myself out of the scene completely. I'll still get messages here and there about six mans, but I removed myself from six mans and all of those things.
Wow, so it was it was almost like a complete separation. Like you wanted to like put it behind you so that you could forget it. It sounds like a very bad breakup.
I mean, looking back at it now, it's almost like I forced myself into that mindset. Like I was thinking about it the other night, and I was like, did I actually want to stop playing Rocket League? I mean, if I came back, clearly there was still some part of me that still wanted to play. I think that was always that. I think I just tried to get rid of it. I tried to force it on myself not to think about it anymore, so I wouldn't come back.
Okay, and did it work? I mean, did you feel like you had got some distance and that you were focusing properly on all the other areas of your life?
Yeah, I think definitely it worked. I think my physical and my mental health wasn't bad at the time, but like both got a nice boost. I got a nice pass for my degree. I finished my degree, which is a bonus. And yeah, I think the distance helped a lot. Especially when I came back, I realized, okay, this like I should actually come back and have some more fun competing again.
All right. Well, tell us that story now. So you'd had the breakup. You'd got some distance between yourself and the game. You finished your degree, getting on with things, and then what happened?
So basically, I've been playing competitively for like 4 years before I retired. So it'll always be there. And then I'm like, RLCS gets announced. Everyone is sending me this link. Hello, chick. RLCS is getting announced. They're trying to bring me back. And I'm like, shit, man. And at the time, my exams, I just started with my exams. So I'm like, shit, do I do this? Do I do this out of retirement plan? And then, yeah, everyone just sent it. So I was like, okay, let me see if I can first get a team because I was washed. I mean, I'm still washed, but at the time it's worse. So I didn't think anyone would actually team with me. Then I thought, okay, let me try and get Lion and Cornflakes. And they agreed. So the initial thought process was basically we can still get top eight. There wasn't as many good teams at the time for us not to be able to get top eight. So I told them, let's do this. We can get top eight. In our minds, it was free money. That's the main reason we came back, just free money. So I think, yeah, that's the main thing. And then when I started playing, like, shit, maybe I actually did miss playing Rocket League.
All right, and how have you felt about the journey so far? The progress you've made. Are you happy with how far you got, or did you fall short or get ahead?
Yeah, so I'd say I'm pretty happy with where I am now. Like I said before, when I sold my PC and I retired, I tried to kind of force myself out of Rocket League. I was it's a very shit mindset, I could say. But ever since I've been back, I mean, like I said, competing for like three to 4 years, and all our main goal as a scene was let's get to RLCS. So now that it came, I was like, I need to play RLCS, right? And I think when it started, it was a bit rough. I mean, it was fun playing with Lion and Cornflakes. I really enjoyed that. But I also had my exams to focus on while I was playing RLCS. So the start was pretty slow. I wasn't putting that much time in. I just kind of put in enough to be relevant, if that makes sense. Kind of still try and make top eight. But I think ever since I finished my exams, and I guess my life kind of took off. I got a job, and I'm busy studying again. I'm doing honors.
Okay.
So now, so now it's like I can kind of focus on Rocket League again. I don't need to worry about my first degree. It's out the way, so I'm free now. So I'll just grind Rocket League. And now we got an org, so now I'm pretty much. I posted a tweet which everyone doubted again that I'm back on the grind, and that's 100% true. So since we got the org, I kind of not have to, but
All right, well, we're going to talk about the org and we're going to talk about the grind in a moment. But one thing worth mentioning now, a lot of people do know, but those who don't, Papa Capes is your brother. Papa Capes being a very prominent member of the local community and probably the grindiest of streamers in Rocket League and other things, and all success to him. So he's your brother. Was he one of the people encouraging you to get back into the competitive scene?
I wouldn't say he was. He wasn't really involved. I mean, he was one of the guys who doubted I would leave the game and doubted I would come back. So I kind of made it a surprise to a lot of players, especially Phallus. So now that I'm thinking, Phallus was one of those guys who's like, no, he's never coming back once he sold his PC. So yeah, so Capes wasn't really involved. I kind of surprised everyone. And when I posted, he was shocked. I mean, I got a phone call from him. So yeah.
Awesome. And all right, well, let's take another step back. Let's talk about Rocket League as a game and when did you pick it up? How did you get involved with Rocket League? And then how did you get involved in the competitive scene?
Okay, so pretty much, I think it was 2015. Yeah, so my cousin had a PS4 at the time, and Rocket League just got it. I think one of the PS Plus games. PS Plus releases free games, I think, every month, and Rocket League was a PS Plus game. So he kind of downloaded it and showed it to us. But at the time, it wasn't really a serious thing. It was more like whenever I see my cousin, maybe like once a month, I'd play at Rocket League. And then a few months later, I kind of had more fun with. We played a bit more often. But all this time, my cousin left a key fact out. He didn't introduce us to the advanced training.
Okay.
So when we saw this, we were like, shit, you can fly in this game, and it just blew our minds. He kept it for us for so long, like, and then I just did the tutorials and stuff, flying around, and like, shit, this is actually a nice game. And then time kind of went on. It was like a once or twice a month thing. And then 2017, Capes actually moved to Cape Town for that year, and we showed him Rocket League, and he was like, "Sure, this actually looks cool." And at the time, I was in Matric. Yeah, I was in Matric 2017. Yeah, so I would literally in the morning I'd wake up, and Capes was like hooked on this game, right? Because I used to like club him in 1v1s. at the time, I mean, I was obviously very bad. I didn't play the game often, but I used to beat him in 1v1s, and obviously as like we used to compete a lot with all games. So I would leave in the morning to school. Capes would wake up, start playing the game. I would come back, and he would still be playing the shit out of Rocket League, and I'm like, oh man, this guy is grinding until he would slap me in 1v1s. And that actually happened after a few months, and then I kind of didn't really get into to Rocket League more. But obviously, what watched him play, and he got involved with the comp scene in 2017. I think he teamed up with DF and Luke, VXP. I think the team's name was. So he competed and things like that 2017. And then I was like, okay, this game looks nice. I need to get good at this game because it's very mechanically challenging. It's not like any other game. So I kind of played more. And then what happened was he invited me a lot to privates, and there's a lot of good guys in those privates. I mean, good guys at the time, Alpha and all those guys. So I played with them more and more, and I kind of got better. And then at the end of 2017, Capes announced that he was going to make an org, which was Wolfstar Gaming, WSG. And in this org, he was going to make Rocket League teams. So we had two Rocket League teams. So I'm like, shit. I was captaining the second Rocket League team at the time. And that's when my comp journey started. So the end of 2017. And then beginning of 2018, you kind of had trials. And I'm like, shit, I need to make this first team. I grinded the shit out of the game with Capes mostly. And yeah, so basically 2018, I started competing. I played with him on the main roster for WSG, and we went to the VS LAN in 2018, where we came second. Yeah.
And what was your? I mean, what was the thinking then? Because there were, I mean, there were, VS was involved, maybe a couple of others, but it wasn't certainly not a lucrative esport to be involved with. And what was the
Yeah.
thinking? Was there hope of going further? Or was it just this is what we're doing to have a good time when we're not busy with the rest of life?
Um, yeah, we were not really thinking about RLCS at the time. It was most, for me, I mean, it was just, I need to be on top of the scene, right? It's not about the game. It's not about the comp scene. The comp scene was, I mean, this is my first time competing properly in the game. I kind of competed before in different esports, but this is my first time actually competing this long, and this game is like mechanically challenging. So I think the main thing for me was I need to be the best at this game. I need to try and get on top of the local scene, and there was just enjoyment in playing Rocket League. So I think that was the main thing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk now about we've had two splits, so that's 6 regionals. You came in with as out of retirement. Then there was a roster change, and you became Bot Gaming, and then you got picked up by an org. So take us through that. Nibble Esports. It's now you're now represented by Nibble, and you are Nibble Esports as a team. So how did
Yeah.
that all come about? Let's talk through that.
Okay. So after the first split, we kind of placed. I think we placed top 8 twice. We didn't make the second regional top 8. So we kind of had some name for ourselves in the RLCS scene. And I mean, I had Line and Pornflix at the time, so I actually had to draw up like a Rocket League CV, if you can call it that, where I had to do a list of play achievements and so forth. So at the time, I kind of I applied to like a bunch of big names like White Rabbit, Goliath Gaming, Big Five, all these other esports brands. But I didn't really get responses, so I kind of took a backseat on that. And then at the end of this last split with Risen and Lion, I had a chat with Lion, and he was not willing to grind, but he wasn't willing to not play. He still kind of wants to play. But he told me like if you can get some what we call like a 12-year-old, if you can get a 12-year-old on the team, kind of we can probably get. I mean, top 4. We can try and push top 4 if we can get a good player to sub him. And that's kind of what I did. So when we made that move, when I got Christian from Apex, I kind of knew, okay, I can push a bigger org now with this roster. and I got into contact with Nibble. I remember Nibble they had a Rocket League team in 2018. So I was like, shit, if Nibble was in the scene before, I can probably try and get them back in. And I contacted Nibble, maybe let's say it was a Wednesday. On the Thursday, they replied and said, let's hook up a meeting.
Wow.
Then that happened like a week after. Then after that meeting, like 2 days after, like, yeah, they want to move through with this whole Rocket League team. So then after that, things got finalized. So yeah, that's where we are now.
That's fantastic, and yeah, big up to them, and I hope they get enough success that they throw more weight behind it. But congratulations
Yeah,
to you on that pickup. All right,
thanks.
so let's now talk about. You said you want to get on the grind. What does that mean to you? What is the grind? What are you actually going to be doing?
So this is actually something that is mentally challenging me so far because before I left, I mean, the scene wasn't where it is at now. Obviously, everyone's level has gone up. But when I came back at the end of last year, I kind of felt I'm not anywhere close to where I was before I left the game. And now I'm in a crap mental place because I feel like my skill level maybe reached its plateau, I think it's called. Um, so I think it's kind of evening out where I can't really improve anymore. So that was really a challenge to get out of. And I'm still struggling because I'm in contact with Fallis a lot. And I know he likes Rocket League and talking about such things. So so I kind of chat to him about how do I get out of this mental challenge. And he just told me there's no skill. Your skill can't plateau in Rocket League. You can always learn something. You can always learn something quickly and get better. You can always get better. So that was kind of the main thing for me to flip. So I'm just going to do the main thing I did to get better before, which consists of like I did a lot of training packs. But the main thing I did was I would download replay files from RLCS. That was like
Yeah.
one of the main things I did. I download replay files and I'd watch players' perspective to kind of see what they do in certain uh, scenarios. So what I did before, that was like 2019, 2020, I would watch Torment a lot. I would literally sit in replays like 50 or something, over 50 replays of him. And I just watch Torment's gameplay and kind of learn his playstyle and do what he does. That's why I think my playstyle is not really, let's say, mechanical. I'm not doing flip resets and such. But so I think the main thing for me to grind now is kind of to pick up all those mechanics because I see resets and musties, all those things are coming into comp a lot more. So it's not a fact that to change my playstyle, but kind of like Fasa says, is to incorporate all of these things into my playstyle. So I think that's the main thing. Just putting all the time to make sure I'm faster, I'm consistent, and I can keep up with these other 12-year-olds. Let's say.
And from a time perspective, I mean, how much, from your point of view, how much time is required in the grind to get the level of improvement you're looking for?
For that, I can't say for sure. One thing I can say is this probably sounds super arrogant, but is I don't really need much time to do the things I need to do. I'm not one of those guys who has to put in like 200 hours to improve in the game. Like 200 hours, like every second week, if you can say. The Steam keeps track of that. But what I am doing, I mean, we're scrimming every night. That's about 3 to 4 hours. I'm doing about, let's say, an hour free play a day. And then weekends, I'm putting in like a lot more time. So that's kind of the structure I'm going for. It's not really a set time. I'm not doing like 5 hours a day. It's just
Yes.
we have scrim, and when I have free time, I'm sitting doing nothing at home. I'll do free play and kind of focus on the things I need to do, and also the replays and so. So yeah, it's not that much time. I think I'll probably be putting in about like just over 20 or 30 hours a week or something.
Okay, well, that's fairly substantial. And
Yeah.
do you guys have a coach? And if not, are you getting any? I mean, you've mentioned Falliser, and talking to him. Is he like your go-to person to discuss things, or do you have someone that you work with?
So Falliser, I mean, it's not really a personal coach. It's just someone I enjoy talking to. It's a lot of insight into these kind of things, especially on a personal level. When someone's trying to improve like themselves, I like chatting to him about such things to see his insight. And also Snowy, I speak to Snowy a lot about such things. But in terms of our team coach, we don't really have a team coach. We are looking. We are in talks with someone now.
Okay.
We're waiting on a reply from him. We sent him a few things he wants to look at. So I actually messaged our management today asking what's up with the coach, and they said there's no response yet. So yeah,
Okay.
so we're still on the lookout.
All right, fine. So that is part of the planning, though, to get yourselves a coach.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely part of the plan because I mean there's a lot of things I don't know, and the main thing I'm excited for is to get a coach because I need to change. I need to change our play style because I know for a fact if, for example, if we get some good play style in SA, then we can kind of dominate more teams because it's kind of one standard of play, and if we can break kind of what other teams are doing, then I think we can do pretty well, and that's why I'm looking forward to the coach so much.
Brilliant. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I just had a thought while you were talking. So you sold your 30K PC to get away from Rocket League. So what is the PC situation now, and how have you been solving that with no high end PC?
So the funny thing is, um, the 30K PC I built was actually more than 30K, but let's say 30K.
Okay.
I sold it to my older brother. And he had my other previous PC, which I used to game with in 2018. I actually played on that PC in the 2018 LAN in Joburg.
Okay.
And when I sold him my 30K PC, he sold that other PC to my cousin. So now I'm like, shit, I need a PC. So I'm using that same PC I used in 2018. I'm using it from my cousin. I'm paying him like rent, let's say, to use the
Wow.
PC.
Okay.
Um, So that's been the arrangement since I came back end of last
Okay.
year. But in the next week, I think next week I'm gonna get another build. So this PC has been suffering. It's like an old PC. So next week I plan to get a PC,
Okay.
full build. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, so let's talk about we are a week away from the next split starting, Regional 1. What are your
Yeah.
plans? What are the goals for this regional? Where do you want to finish for the split? Let's start with the first regional and then the split overall.
Okay. So the first regional, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on me, right? Because we just started with Nibble, and they kind of want to see a good performance, even though the official number I put on the proposal, let me just leak that info,
Okay.
is I want us to finish top six, right? I want
Okay.
us to do top six. Top eight is minimum. We can't do anything less than that. So that's for regional one, just to get peace of mind from Nibble. This is to top six. Yeah.
Okay. And how confident are you feeling about that?
Um. So far, I mean, we've been scrimming quite a lot, mostly like the top eight teams, or let's say top six teams. And so far, I'm feeling kind of two ways about it because a lot of the teams, I mean, they are improving a lot, and the roster changes are changing a lot. But the scrims are close. The games themselves in the scrims are close. So I'm quite confident we can get top six. It won't be easy. There will be like a big challenge, but I think it is possible for us. I'm
Okay.
confident that we can do it.
All right, good. And what are your plans? Oh, no. Let me ask it this way. So this is going to be the end of the 21-22 season. And I
Yeah.
do believe quite strongly that SSA has done enough for us to still be a very relevant part of the conversation for next season.
Yeah.
What would you like to see when it comes to SSA involvement in the next season?
So I mean, I still want RLCs to be like you're saying. There shouldn't be reasons for them not to continue with us. I think the main thing I would like to see is that we get our Psionic stream, so the official Rocket League stream for SSA,
Okay.
for our region. And then I would like to see majors done for us as well. I think that's a big thing. The major lands will actually be nice for our region. So I think the main thing is just the stream and the major, and obviously still the world champ spots.
And how far off do you think we are from being able to compete toe to toe with North America and Europe?
See, one thing I do know for sure is, I mean, we are quite far off now. I think it's because we don't get exposed to that gameplay. I mean, I'm going to refer to Pirates and BVD right now, right? They're the top two teams most likely going to those spots. One thing I can say for sure is if they boot camp in EU or NA for long enough, let's say a month or two before, playing those top teams every day, I think the level they'll reach that level pretty quickly and be able to compete at that level pretty nicely as well. So I think if we can get exposed to that gameplay often, if our top two teams or more teams can get exposed to NA and EU scrimming those top teams, I think we can improve very, very, very well. Yeah.
And do you see a future where an SSA team wins worlds?
Wow. Wins worlds. I think the only way that could happen is, like I said, with the boot camping, but this has to be different where a team has to be exposed to that gameplay for a very long time, almost like a full-time job. If each player, for example, was staying in EU for a year leading up to Worlds, playing and so forth, I think it could be possible. I'm not sure we have what it takes right now because we're not exposed, like I said. But if, let's say, in that scenario where we have the resources to, let's say, send a team for a year, kind of play at those high-level lobbies often, I think it could definitely be possible. I think SA players have a uniqueness to them that the scene lacks, let's say, at the world stage. So I think that could definitely be possible. Yeah.
All right. And then how old are you now?
I am 22.
So how much of a future is there for you in Rocket League in terms of time? How long do you see yourselves competing?
That's a good question. So right now there's no real. I can't really think of a time. I mean, Rocket League is just like any sport now, right? I still play football. I'm gonna play football until when? Until I'm 30, till I'm 40, maybe even. So if I can be relevant for the next few years, I'll still compete because I enjoy the sport of Rocket League, the esport of Rocket League. I enjoy playing the game. So I think for as long as I can stay relevant and put in the time, I think I'll definitely stay in the scene this time.
All right. And do you think I'm not sure how to phrase this question. What is the competitive community like? Is it fairly supportive of each other? Is there an element of toxicity, or do you all get on okay amongst, let's call it, the sort of top 8, top 10 teams? Is there a good vibe amongst the local players?
I would say there is a good vibe within like the top 8. I think you'll always have the problem of pride and ego. I think that will always be the case. I think that's a big problem in our country. Listen, I'm not getting political here, but it's just we as individuals don't really want to see someone surpass us in skill level, right? So we'll never kind of support someone fully. We want to support someone until they reach a certain level, but if they get too close to
until they're just worse than you.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it is. Like, I mean, myself, I'm kind of open-minded about it, but other players, if they're coaching you and you get kind of too close to level, they kind of cut you off. If you see what I'm saying.
Yes.
So I think that will always be there, where the teams want to be the best and they don't really want to support other teams to get to their spot or to get the first place. They kind of want to do it on their own. But I think if our two teams are on the world stage, kind of representing the entire the country, I think you'll get actual support there. But right now in the local scene, I don't think teams will really support other teams now. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, Mr. Lowe, I have to say I've enjoyed this conversation very much, and
Yeah.
and it's been some good insight into you and some of the competitive community, and then of course touching a little bit on Papa Capes. So, split 3, the spring split. or starts in just over a week's time. Top 6 is the goal. So
Yeah.
good luck to you and your team, Nibble Esports.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.